So George, VoiceThread is often used as a tool for digital storytelling. Can you share some examples of how students or instructors have used it to tell compelling stories or case studies?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's been a number of storytelling examples that I've seen. One was a language teacher, and he had a number of students that were ESL students. And what he did is he took a bunch of images, uploaded them to VoiceThread. It was, I don't know, 10 or 12 slides. But if you follow along, it's a visual story, right? And it was a story of a shipwreck. So it's a guy on a boat, and the storm comes in, and the boat gets tossed around. He ends up washing up on shore, et cetera, right? So what he wanted his students to do is to practice some of their basic sentence skills and the vocabulary they had to tell the story. So he started off telling the first few slides, and then he kind of let them take over. So it was almost like a choose your own adventure type of thing, where as long as what you're saying matches the image, it was good. So he started them off, he let them know, okay, this is the guy, here's the thing. And then once you get to about slide 4 or 5, now it's the student's turn. So it tests them in a number of ways. They have it's listening comprehension, right? So he has to make sure they understand the story up until that point. If they don't understand anything he said, their story is not going to make any sense. Their continuation is not going to fit what started, right? So I think as a language teacher, I think that was a great example. You test their listening comprehension. Did you understand how I started the story? And then your vocabulary recall, your grammar, your pronunciation, all of that stuff for the rest of the story that you can finish off. And it's creative and it's more fun than just, filling in fill in the blanks or multiple choice tests, right? It gives you a real opportunity to use your language in a more authentic way. That was one example. Another one I saw was from an instructional designer they were rolling out Google tools, the Google suite of tools at their campus. And she was tasked with making tutorials for all the faculty. So instead of just making a screencast and saying, here's where you click, here's where you click, here's where you click, she folded a narrative structure into what she was doing. So she came up with some characters first. She had a woman and her spouse and their kids, and she talked about the demands on this person from a schedule standpoint and how they were always missing appointments and yada yada yada. And here's how Google Calendar can help you not miss those appointments. And then she started to blend in the where to click stuff, but she did it within, I forget the name of the character, but she blended that character in and said, okay, so let's say she is trying to get her kids to soccer practice on Thursday. How do you set an appointment on Thursday at 3 o'clock? Well, here's how you do it. Go into this menu, do this, do that.
Got it.
And she carried that narrative throughout the entire tutorial. So, storytelling, our brains are wired for story. And when you can do stuff like that, it helps make everything more memorable, and you can really access the information that you need to access.